Disclaimer.
In this video, we'll be playing Pokemon Fire Red with a custom CORYKENSHIN themed team in my first ever randomized Pokemon run. Think I could pull this busted challenge off? Let's find out. I start at Big Ankles the Blaziken. Yes, Blaziken. Now I know what you're already thinking.
Yeah, bread, that thing's too strong. It'll make the run too easy.
Yeah, well just take a look see at what Edward's starter is. Yeah, we're not actually outclassing him that much. Short answer, his Mewtwo absolutely destroys us. Hey, we will remember that, Edward. After failing miserably, we do the early game chores, getting Oak's parcel, getting the Pokeballs, Pokédex, and grinding for the optional rival battle, just northwest. Speaking of the rival battle, he leads with Ho-Oh. Fortunately, he had no clue how to utilize this thing's true strength, so it never even hit us once. On top of that, we are massively overleveled. Due to said massive overleveling lead, we absolutely destroy Mewtwo as well. So, in layman's terms,
you freaking trash bag, Mike.
After that, we hike through Verdian Woods, beat up a bunch of cosplayers, what, don't believe me? Till I reach Pewter City. First thing we do is we challenge Brock, who evidently has turned in the Rock Gem for a Fire one. And when you know it, he's still a worse leader than Blaine. That's not even possible. After pounding Angry Rockman, I decide to hike east towards Mount Moon. Along the way, I get Naruto running shoes, and I fight a bug cosplayer who just so happens to be using a Rayquaza. I'm not joking. Hey, you want to see more of the Hoenn region? Go check out the PewDiePie run. Yes, I made a PewDiePie run. Naturally, after reaching Mount Moon, we hike through it, obviously. While we're in there, though, we come across the cult of Father Bonehead.
How is this CORYKENSHIN fan service?
This is how.
Looking like a whole cult out here. Y'all know how I feel about cults. Let me guess, you're the ringleader. Father Bonehead, that's what I'm gonna call you. Alright, no, don't worry about it. Because we sending in the king himself. King, get ready.
The sentiment still reigns true to this day. So needless to say, we beat up the Bone Cult. Good lord, this sounds like a fan fiction now. I mean, it is, so what are you gonna do about it? On top of finding the Bone Cult in Mount Moon, we also find... Bro, what's your problem, man? Oh, jail! Took the Helix Fossil, by the way. Okay, so I'm back. I just had to go get some coffee. Now I can get this recorded. After making it through Mount Moon, we reached Cerulean City on the other side. Of course, the first thing we do is we challenge the Water Gym leader, Misty. And when you know it, she doesn't even use water types. She leads with his Nidoking. He was a 2-shot KO with Ember, and he surprisingly didn't even hit us once. And her Swinub right after was a 1-shot. So in layman's terms, after Misty though, we get ambushed by Edward on the Nugget Bridge. For anyone curious how this fight went, he leads with Flygon, who goes down when 2 double kicks. Next he sends out Vibrava, who doesn't really do much besides sand attack us, lowering our accuracy, so he went down easy. Next he sends out another Flygon that gets the same treatment as the first one. And last is Mewtwo, who dodges our attacks enough to land 2 confusions, dealing big damage. Despite that, however, we still managed to land a couple of embers and take him down.
Freak off, what the freak you think is up?
After that little tussle, I finally decide it's time to add another fighter. So I catch this Nidoran that I name Oni. Big purple guy who has broken legs. Only the one that I found just so happens to be suffocating. Must still be catching his breath after what happened to him. Look, I'm not passing up a shiny, okay? Deal with it. Of course, after catching Oni, however, his level is bottom of the barrel. So we crossed the Nugget Bridge where we got ambushed earlier to train him up. And while we're doing that, he actually evolves. So now he's actually a pretty decent fighter. On the other side of the Nugget Bridge, we find Markiplier's house and walk in on him doing some Why do you go wrong direction? She says he'll give us the ticket to the SSN if we don't tell Amy, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Mark, I'm sorry. It's not even related to CORYKENSHIN. Okay, so my script says I really don't know how to segue this to us traveling south from that, so I use a Moonstone on Oni and make him even more buff. Didn't really help with his cardio problem, though. After heading far south and eventually reaching Vermilion City, we whoop everybody on board the SSN, including Edward, who, yes, he tried attacking us again, but we also get this HM from this vomiting old dude, because evidently rubbing someone's back, just like, it's taking Naris from Phantasy Star 2, it's just like, and then their health is restored. Doesn't stop us from sinking the SSN. Yes, I'm fully aware I use this joke in my stinking Minky run. Shut up, I'm not creative. Before challenging the quote-unquote electric gym. I catch Dashi and Momo outside of town and teach Aoni cut so we can enter said gym. Spoiler alert, no electric types in sight, and Surge was a complete and utter sweep. After beating Lieutenant Surge with the high ground, I head to Rock Tunnel. It's pitch black and I get lost in the dark, wandering around, bust my toenails. I've said that a million times already before. But short answer, I reach Lavender Town on the other side. Of course I skip it because it's creepy as With nowhere else to go, we head west, we reach Celadon City, we sweep Erica and the grass gym. We also break into this game corner. Of course, it turns out it's hiding some dark secrets in the basement.
It's the home of the sticking bonehead cult.
And who else do we find there? Besides Father
Bonehead himself.
He was a complete sweep. After that, the game forces me to go back to Lavender Town, a deed that I'm not happy with. I guarantee you I'll be the one who survives in any horror movie. And I start to scale Pokemon Tower. We do get jumped by Edward, but we just... You hear that? That's Ankles double kicking his face off!
Follow me on Patreon. Give me money. I'm in a car.
So you remember that one game Cory played, the bathhouse, and there's that potato guy, and when they goes like, yeah, well, I save him from a bunch of bonehead cult guys, and he gives me the pokey flute. And I'm not even gonna try to make a joke out of this. I used it to wake up this fat dude just south and beat him up. Speaking of heading south, after fighting my way through a literal army, I finally reached Fuchsia City. Naturally, I immediately challenged the gym leader Koga. He was a near sweep though. Blaziken really did come in clutch for this one, so I didn't have to just double kick him to death. And of course, y'all who have played this game, I go to the sparring zone, I get this old guy's teeth, surf. One eventful thing, I did accidentally catch a random Starmie and I named him Oops. I'm not even kidding. Of course, after delivering the teeth, I get the H up for strength. I teach it to Dashi. By the way, on the way out, the warden yells for y'all to slice the like button. If you thought the part earlier couldn't get any more intrusive or beggy, think again. By the way, are you ready for a sad and confusing chain of events? No? Well, too bad, you're getting them anyways. So basically, I went and caught a random Zubat thinking it could learn Fly. Yes, I went back for Fly. What's Fly? Are you non-Pokemon fan CORYKENSHIN viewer asking? Well, basically, it's detrimental later on for my own sanity. But guess what? Zubat can't learn Fly. And this tragic tale doesn't end here. Let me explain the main story first. So basically, after headed to this massive city, Saffron, it's overrun by a bunch of bonehead idiots. And they've taken over Slivco. It's the stinking apple of this universe. Well, I caught this dumb rat with wings, and I took him to Slivco to train him, thinking that if he evolves into Golbat, he'll be able to learn Fly. I mean, just look at him. But after it evolved, it still couldn't learn Fly! Look at those wings! Look! Screw you, Gen 3! Yeah, you get out of here. You felt troglodyte. You know what adds insult to injury, though? I just remembered where I can find Pidgey in this randomized run. The Pokemon I usually use for Fly in my other Fire Red videos. I hate randomized Pokemon runs. I named my Pidgey KFC. I'm that desperate for comedy right now. After finally finishing the climb up Splifco, Edward Norton attacks once again. He leaves a Flappy with a one-shot, but paralyzed ankles due to our physical contact attack. Next up is Fish Thing, who managed to hit us a couple of times with Water Gun for pretty good damage, before going down. Next is Mewtwo, who could have been really bad, but instead of attacking when we couldn't move, he just built up his defense only to get one shot anyways. Next is Pichu, the little jerk confused us with Sweet Kiss before we managed to take him down. And last is Electrike, who we managed to take down immediately, despite being paralyzed and confused at the same time. That fight was the definition of punching a brick wall and expecting something to happen. Fun fact, I'm writing all this at 3 in the morning, I look like Il from Death Note, and I want sleep. After making Edward cringy, I find Father Boneheaded in the next room over. He's kidnapped the president or some junk, but it really doesn't even matter because we just beat the ever-loving tar out of him anyways. So, yeah, he's,
Trash bag, trash!
After freeing Slivco from Bonehead clutches, we take out Sabrina's gym while here in Saffron. She was pushover though, using mostly weak ice Pokemon. And if you know anything about Pokemon, fire, fighting, and ice, they don't really mix too well. Of course, I mean that in our favor. We beat the ever-loving snot out of her. Now, for any of you people out there who just like CORYKENSHIN only Pokemon, let me show you why Fly is important. We would have had to walk all the way back without it. That would have been bad. Upon arrival back in Pallet Town, we immediately surf south till we reach this giant, repulsive rock. For anyone curious, this is a reoccurring joke from my other videos. If you want to understand it, you'll have to go watch those. Upon arriving, we head to the long-abandoned Pokemon Mansion. Why, you may ask? Because the gym leader on this island, Blaine, has some serious problems. He legit hid a key in this hole, and now we have to find it. There's some straight serial killer junk right there. He's playing games with us. Guess it's not a total loss, though, because I caught this Farfetch'd in there. I named him Samurai to replace KFC. Why? Because this thing looks dope, and the other one looks like dinner. That's why. Anyways, back to the key hunting.
6.5 hours later.
We can finally challenge him. For anyone curious how this fight went, he was a complete sweep. It's no wonder this guy locks his doors. After leaving the gym, Markiplier's... Ow! Hey! Hands off! Ow! Ah! After playing Mark's little games, he finally lets us go back to the mainland. And naturally, after arriving back on dry land, we immediately fly back to Viridian City, where the absent gym leader has finally returned. Yes, the gym leader was absent this entire time. I guess I should have brought that up. And it turns out to be none other than Father Bonehead himself. Oh well, maybe he'll surprise us this time he was a sweep. How did this idiot become the boss? Now that the Bonehead cult has finally been dismembered, we can finally take on the Pokemon League.
Hey, Cory.
Edward leads with a Kabutops that was a one-shot, and same with the Solrock that he follows up with. But after Solrock is Mewtwo, who lands 2 Swifts for decent damage before going down. The rest of his team after Mewtwo is pretty powerless, but still. I don't understand why this fictional character that also happens to be poorly edited for this terrible video is my biggest hater. Give me more clout. I want real haters. After making it through the final stretch of the game Victory Road and grinding levels for literal ages, it's finally time. It's time for the Elite Four, baby. I gotta go pee really bad. First Elite Four member is Lorelei, who is a complete sweep thanks to a randomized team being only bug types. We burned them down really fast. Next is Bruno, who is mostly the same story except for the fact that his Vileplume at the end was kind of annoying. He still went down without many issues though. Next up is Agatha. She leads with a Latios that takes almost half of our health with one Psychic before going down next turn. Next is her equally terrifying Latias that finishes off Ankles. Fortunately I had a backup plan. Oops, you finally have a purpose now. I sent out Oops to take the hit while I use a max revive on Ankles, and just as Oops goes down, Ankles comes back out and finishes Latias off. From there, the rest of her team is completely pathetic. Last Elite Four member is Lance, who couldn't even hit us once.
Hello? It's you, huh?
Tell me who I am.
Edward Norton.
Bingo. That's a good boy. Hey,
Uh-huh.
I'm coming to end you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's nice. Hey, Cory.
Edward leads with Arcanine, who hits us with extreme speed so we're at half health and we double kick him till he heals. Rinse and repeat till he goes down and we have to recover. His next Pokemon out is Numel, who I thought would be harmless, so I took the opportunity to heal. Little did I know that this thing knows Earthquake! It took nearly half of our health before we could take it down. Next is Rapidash, who landed in a Body Slam, taking Ankles to an uncomfortable level of health before going down. Next up, Typhlosion, who only hit one puny Swift before dropping. Next is Quilava, who is just a one-shot. And last but not least, Mewtwo. I'm not taking any chances. Sorry, Dash. Ankles needs healing. Right after Dashy gets obliterated, Ankles is back, brand new. Mewtwo only lands Swift for damage as we cut his health down to nearly nothing. In return, he uses Recover, but it only prolongs the inevitable. And just like that, one Blaze Kick, and we finally seal Edward Norton away for now.
Be sure to Sisters and Samurai, slice that like button, subscribe to 80 to 20 Samurai, and until next time, my brothers and sisters.
You win. Perfect.